Hi everyone, for today's video I am going to show you how to sew Prudence a felt chicken, and it's all hand sewn, so even a beginner can sew this chicken, and it's made from felt, and I love sewing with felt because it's very forgiving. And in this video I will show you how to do the eyes a little bit different because these are safety eyes, and in my video I don't use safety eyes. But these are super fun to sew up, and they're super easy. And the video will be in 4 parts because I don't want the videos to be too long, so I had to break them up into a 4-part series. I will number the series in the title of the videos. And here is where I got the pattern. It's from an Etsy shop, and it's called the Little Softy Shop, and she has a bunch of great patterns to make felt critters. And this happens to be called Prudence the Chicken, otherwise known as a barnyard buddy. And right now the pattern is on sale, but by the time I get this video series up, I don't know if it will still be on sale. But either way, it's a reasonable price. I will put a link to the Little Softy Shop Etsy store in the description of my video down below. Once you've downloaded the pattern, this is what it's going to look like, and it's called Prudence the Chicken, and it gives you instructions. My instructions are going to be a little bit different because I sew the chicken a little bit different than her instructions, but you can follow her instructions to the T if you want. But this is the pattern, and when I print these out on cardstock because it's easier to trace the pattern. And here's the little elements of Prudence the Chicken. And for the mouth and the eyes, this is the eye and this is the mouth, I am going to sew these a little bit different, but you can follow her instructions if you want to sew it her way. And this is just a sheet of felt. It's the cheapy felt from like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. And I took the sticker off there. And it's just like, you know, a 25-cent piece of felt. And here I have my pattern cut out, and now I want to trace it, but this is an erasable gel pen, and it erases with friction heat, and I will have these in my Amazon store down below. And I am just going to trace this, and I need two of these. So I'm going to trace these individually, both of them on one piece of felt. I'm not going to try to double these up and cut them out at the same time. It won't work. It doesn't work well with felt. And you see the belly? I cut out the belly, and I'm doing this so I know where to place the belly. So I'm just going to go around that, but I'm not going to cut that out. And there's 1/2. And then for my other chicken, I might have to and there you got to kind of position it so it'll fit, but 2 will fit on one little sheet of the felt. But see how easy it is when you print it out on cardstock? You can just trace it without the paper wrinkling all up. And now I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to cut these out right on the lines that I created, that I traced. And there's one cutout. And remember, don't cut out the belly. That's just for reference. And there's both halves. And when I traced out these chickens and cut them out, I realized I didn't even have to have You know how I traced the hole? I only had to do that on one. I didn't have to do that on both. But it doesn't matter. The ink disappears with heat. But even I make mistakes, but it's no biggie. But yeah, because the back doesn't have a belly. So you don't have to trace the belly hole on both of them, just on one. For the belly, I'm going to use a white piece of felt. Whoops. With cat hair on it. And here's the belly. Actually, I think I can. Make it fit on this little piece. I need to cut out one belly. Now for the legs, I'm going to do something a little different than her instructions. I want to cut out 4 of these instead of 2 because I want these feet to be more sturdy, these legs to be more sturdy. So I'm actually going to sew 2 together. And this is a black erasable gel pen. Now I'm going to cut out all 4 of the legs. I have all 4 legs together, and when I sew them, I am going to double them up to make 1 leg. I'm using red felt for the comb, and for the comb, I want to double this, so I'm going to trace this out and cut this out twice. So I have 2. For the wattle, I'm going to cut out 1. One wattle. The outer eye, I'm going to cut 1. The beak, I'm going to cut 1. There's the beak. Now remember, I told you not to cut the mouth hole or the inner eye, and that's because I'm going to freehand these with a paint pen instead of sewing them, because I just find that to be too much fiddly work for me. So here's the beak. And I'm going to use this as a reference, and I'm going to look to see where that is. And this is a Posca paint pen, and I'll have those linked in my Amazon store. And so I am just going to freehand the beak. And whatever you do, don't try to do this with Sharpies. It won't work. It'll bleed real funny, and it'll be all feathery looking. But there's the mouth. And to make the black part of the eye, I'm going to use this chicken as a reference, and I am actually going to color the eye in with a Posca paint pen. There are several ways you can do the eye. You can follow her instructions, and she has a way where you can sew the eye. In the chicken I showed you, I use safety eyes. You could use buttons, you could use Google eyes, but just remember, if this is for a child, you want it to be safe. So I am just going to freehand an eye on both of these outer eyes. If you want, you can use a stencil if you don't feel comfortable freehanding, but I'm fine with freehanding the eye. And so I'm going to look at this chicken and kind of see where the eyes are. And so I'm just going to freehand the eye. And because this is felt, it's fuzzy. So you gotta kind of dab it and rub. And don't try doing this with Sharpie. It doesn't work because the Sharpie just soaks in, and it looks awful. So for this eye on this side, I turned it upside down so I can. There's my eyes. And this is supposed to be like a cartoony chicken, so I don't have to get it perfect. And then when I go to put the chicken together, this is what it'll look like. So I'm fine with the painted eyes. Some people might not be, but I'm fine with it. With the painted eyes and the mouth. And I'm going to let this dry. And then when I come back, it's time to start sewing the chicken. And this was video number 1 out of 4. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And then you'll be notified when I upload series number 2, which will be the actual sewing of Prudence the chicken.